Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are looking way past the bank accounts and diving deep into the fascinating cognitive architecture of a very specific, kind of mysterious group of people, those who actively hide their success. We live in a world that absolutely screams for visibility, but there is a totally different hidden psychology behind those who choose a quieter path. So let me ask you, have you ever actually noticed the millionaire next door? Think about that person in your neighborhood or maybe even someone you work with. You know the one. They drive a super reliable but maybe 10-year-old car, they wear simple, totally unbranded clothes, and they literally never talk about their achievements. You might walk past them every single day without even realizing they exude a level of absolute financial freedom that most people only dream of. They almost seem invisible, right? But why? When they have every reason in the world to show off, why stay so low-key? Well, it all comes down to a massive fundamental divide: loud wealth versus quiet power. Loud wealth is pretty much everywhere today, isn't it? It screams for visibility and is constantly begging for external approval. But quiet power? That's entirely different. While so much of society is completely exhausted from broadcasting this perfectly curated highlight reel, the hidden wealthy are practicing a quiet, highly disciplined existence. And psychology tells us this isn't just random. And actually, it isn't even just about being humble. It's really a sign of an advanced mental evolution where privacy is valued way over popularity and mystery is wielded as a genuine form of power. Okay, so let's jump right into section 1, the power of privacy. To really get how these individuals operate, we have to look at what's called the privacy framework. Look, we live in a digital world that is designed exactly like a slot machine. It's literally built to keep us hooked on getting external approval. But people operating with this privacy framework, they've basically decided to opt out. They've taken back control of their mental space. And to be clear, they aren't antisocial, they are just hyper-aware. They rely almost entirely on self-validation, meaning they don't need a screen to confirm their worth, which, if you think about it, is a massive indicator of profound inner security. They just don't need to be seen to feel seen. By choosing privacy, they build this incredible fortress against the endless, exhausting noise of public opinion and that heavy, heavy psychological pressure of maintaining a high-status image. Because here's a massive, crucial rule that they live by. Once you show the world what you have, you give the world a vote in how you should live. Publicizing wealth instantly invites unsolicited opinions, it invites jealousy, and it creates expectations. It quite literally gives the world a vote in their lives. And frankly, that is a price the quiet wealthy are absolutely unwilling to pay. Which brings us right to section 2, escaping hedonic adaptation. So this escape happens when a person hits a level of emotional maturity where that quick dopamine hit from external validation just stops feeling rewarding. It's their way out of hedonic adaptation. Now, if you aren't familiar, hedonic adaptation is this giant psychological trap where you buy something new, you get an awesome thrill, but then really quickly your brain just gets used to it. The item completely loses its meaning, and you're forced to buy something even bigger just to chase that exact same baseline thrill. I want you to reflect for a second here. How often have you fallen into this endless cycle of consumption? We all do it, but individuals with hidden wealth have developed incredible self-concept clarity. Their identity is already complete, which makes them practically immune to this whole cycle. You can really see how this builds into a literal treadmill. Step 1, you buy a new item for a thrill. Step 2, your brain adapts and gets totally bored. Step 3, you buy something bigger, over and over. By staying quiet about their success, these individuals purposefully keep their ego completely out of their financial decisions. They basically just step right off the treadmill. And the result? Their wealth continues to compound quietly in the background, while their stress stays incredibly low. Their happiness comes from the inside out, not from how the public reacts to their stuff. And that internal focus leads us perfectly into section 3, protecting cognitive bandwidth. Here's a really hard truth that gifted, highly self-aware people eventually figure out. Constant social noise is unbelievably mentally expensive. The human brain only has a limited amount of daily bandwidth, right? When your energy is all tied up in that noise, searching for attention, performing wealth, managing your digital image, your focus and your creativity are just starved. The quiet wealthy completely reject this digital illusion. Instead, they free up their limited cognitive bandwidth for things like learning, creating, and deep thinking. Because those are the things that actually compound in real life and yield true lasting dividends. Just look at the stark contrast in daily existence here between the digital trap and digital minimalism. The digital trap keeps your brain in this constant state of alert distraction through engineered micro-distractions and variable rewards. It locks you into social comparison theory, where you're constantly measuring your own worth against the filtered highlight reels of everybody else, which quietly triggers all these feelings of inadequacy. But on the flip side, practicing digital minimalism, that protects your mental health. It allows you to move from a frantic state of consumption to a really focused state of creation. It's all about trading those superficial digital illusions for authentic conversations, real energy, and building real-world skills. This amazing ability to just step back from the crowd introduces Section 4, high emotional intelligence. Think about it. It takes a tremendous amount of self-control to feel the rush of a major achievement and not let that emotion dictate a public reaction. This is deeply rooted in what's called an internal locus of evaluation. Basically, this means judging yourself entirely by your own metrics and values, rather than the metrics and expectations of society. They feel the internal pride of their success, absolutely, but they totally separate that feeling from impulsive, attention-seeking actions. They are the undeniable masters of their own narrative, recognizing that silence is very often way louder and way more impactful than some flashy display of status. And that mastery brings us to Section 5, which is really the deepest psychological realization of this entire explainer: true wealth is peace. When we break down the core motivations of oversharing versus quiet confidence, the difference is just night and day. Oversharing very often stems from an uneasy nervous system. It's someone looking for safety and completion in the approval of others just to feed their short-term ego. But quiet confidence, the source of that is deep, unshakable emotional security. They don't post to prove their worth because they already feel complete. They completely bypass the need to look like they are winning because, well, they actually are winning. Keeping their life private creates this vital psychological buffer, allowing them to rest and recover without the crushing weight of public expectation. Because ultimately, this is the entire goal: a mind at peace with itself. When you truly master your mind, that desperate need to impress other people, it just naturally fades away. You start to realize that the most valuable asset you can possibly own isn't a luxury car or some massive house that everybody admires. It's a peaceful, focused, and totally secure mind. It really all boils down to this one absolutely phenomenal philosophy from our source material. Your wealth is your business, but your peace is your power. True power isn't about how many people know your name or covet your lifestyle. It's about the absolute freedom to live exactly how you want, completely free from anyone else's input or validation. So I want to leave you with one big question to chew on today. How much could you grow in the quiet? Your future really isn't about how many people are watching you. It is entirely about what you can build in the quiet spaces of your own life. Awareness is the first step toward rewriting your own script. And honestly, once you see these patterns of quiet power, you can literally never unsee them. If you want to keep exploring the hidden psychology behind how we think and act, these really powerful truths that most people just completely miss, make sure to hit subscribe, because once you understand the world within, you start noticing absolutely everything else. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.